Can bipolar be a superpower? The hidden advantages no one talks about. Welcome to Mr. Mental Well. This is about bipolar, where today we're exploring a question that might sound bold. Can bipolar disorder act like a hidden superpower? It's a question many people living with bipolar quietly ask themselves, especially when they notice flashes of extraordinary energy or creativity. And it's one of the most misunderstood topics in mental health. Let's start by being honest. Bipolar is not a gift-wrapped blessing. The manic highs, the depressive lows, the unpredictability, they can be exhausting, dangerous, and life-altering. Families, careers, and relationships can be shaken to their core. But there's another truth alongside that one. When bipolar is recognized, supported, and managed, many people discover strengths within it that they never expected. The mania experience, power unleashed. Mania and hypomania are often described as an outpouring of energy and ideas. One person said, "It felt like the universe had taken the cap off my mind and everything poured out at once. Thoughts race, connections spark, ideas arrive in floods." People can feel sharper, more alive, more charismatic. Hypomania in particular, the less extreme version, can feel intoxicating, like a rocket booster attached to your creativity or productivity. This is why many people with bipolar 2 who experience hypomania rather than full mania can seem unstoppable in certain phases. Writing, painting, composing, starting businesses, creating movements. Real people, real impact. Look at Carrie Fisher, who turned her bipolar diagnosis into an engine for writing, advocacy, and humor. Her openness broke stigma long before it was common to do so. Or Mariah Carey, who shared her diagnosis with the world in 2018. She's spoken about learning to manage her bipolar 2 with therapy and medication, allowing her to sustain a career that demands creativity and discipline at the highest level. Cartoonist Ellen Forney created the acclaimed graphic memoir Marbles, showing how her art was both fueled by and challenged by her bipolar disorder. She openly describes using mood tracking and therapy to stabilize her power source so she could keep creating without burning out. These aren't people blessed by illness. They're people who learn to stabilize a volatile force and channel it into something constructive. The double-edged sword. Because here's the flip side. Untreated mania isn't a superpower. It's like plugging a light bulb into a lightning strike. It can blow up relationships, drain finances, destroy careers, and endanger health. The same surge of ideas that fuels creativity can also fuel reckless spending, impulsive decisions, or risky behavior. Hypomania can feel like a golden ticket, but without awareness and support, it can end in devastation. Think of bipolar's energy like a nuclear reactor. When stabilized and contained, it can power cities. When it's unstable, it can melt down catastrophically. Stabilizing the power source. This is why therapy, medication, and behavioral strategies aren't just about dulling someone's spark. They're about building the container that allows the spark to be useful. Mood stabilizers act like shock absorbers. Therapy helps people identify triggers, establish routines, and process the guilt or grief of past episodes. Behavioral tools like sleep discipline, stress management, and early warning systems help keep the reactor steady. When those supports are in place, people often discover that the very qualities once seen as liabilities, intensity, creativity, empathy, resilience, are actually assets. They're not cured of bipolar. They've learned to work with it instead of being overrun by it. From illness to gift. Does this mean bipolar is a superpower? Not in the comic book sense, but in the human sense, the ability to turn pain into art, instability into empathy, adversity into innovation. Yes, it can function like a superpower. The diagnosis doesn't erase a person's potential. It gives them a map for how to manage it. Many who walk this path describe a transformation. No longer fearing their own mind, but learning its rhythms. They develop extraordinary self-knowledge, resilience, and compassion for others. Those are rare skills in any field. And in a world that rewards originality, persistence, and emotional depth, they can indeed become a kind of superpower. Bipolar disorder will always carry risks. But managed well, its energy doesn't have to destroy, it can build. Its depth doesn't have to isolate, it can connect. And its unpredictability doesn't have to define a life, it can enrich it. Thanks for watching about Bipolar, part of Mr. Mental Well. If this video gave you insight or hope, share it with someone who might need it. And subscribe to Mr. Mental Well for more real talk about mental health myths and recovery. Knowledge is power, and hope is always worth holding on to.